On News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
This is a Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Fat broads and horse-faced lesbians.
Shut up, silly woman. I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
There are those that think I'm a very stable genius.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Thank God for another beautiful day. Hope it'll be a beautiful show. And Montgomery needs a new mayor. And I would also say one other thing today. If you're tired of the political machine in Alabama seeming to always get its way because they have more money and they have the right endorsements, consider voting for Hampton Harris on Tuesday. Consider actually getting out and voting. Do it because you like Hampton, but also do it because you're tired of the political establishment in this state being run by certain types of people, especially folks behind the scenes, who are foul-mouthed, who always think they can bully their way into a position of strength. They are entitled. They're often just wretched. And I'm pissed at myself because I've had dinner with too many of these folks before. So if you'd like to protest the corrupt, though aren't we all corrupt, but the entitled, bullying, political machine in Alabama, consider voting for Hampton Harris. Now, Hampton Harris will be joining us in the 1 o'clock hour. And I'm going to let Hampton tell you why I said that. I'm going to let Hampton tell you why I said that. But he wasn't the only one. Apparently something happened after an event, and there are many people that witnessed what went down. One way to characterize it is foul-mouthed bullying. Another way to characterize it is entitlement. Some might be calling it big boying. But there is definitely an ugly side to politics. Trump's brought it out into the daylight somewhat. But here in Alabama, we still say, bless your heart, while we dog cuss you behind the scenes, especially the Alabama political machine. They're so prim and proper when they need to be, right, folks? And so, when it really comes down to it, how much is a new congressman going to make a difference in your life? Well, you can make a difference this Tuesday. Special primary election. Turnout is not expected to be high. Your vote's going to count more than ever. Yeah, you could be, Joey, I got things to do that day. Okay. You got to take the kids to school. Okay. But I'll let Hampton Harris tell you why I'm going off script and out of character. He'll be joining us in the 1 o'clock hour. Now, another thing, Montgomery does need a new mayor, but Montgomery needs more people on the police force. This is something I wouldn't argue with at all, and I want to help in whatever way I can. So I want to highlight an event they have coming up, I believe tomorrow, Saturday, August the 8th. Check-in is at 8:30, and the test, it's a test, begins at 9 a.m., but it's a physical agility test. So you got a buddy who likes to brag about his fitness. You got a buddy that likes to brag about how strong he is or how he could do that gig. I mean, there are a lot of men that do this, by the way. Constantly running their mouths about how they could whoop somebody in this or whoop somebody in that. Well, why not go take the physical agility test there for the Montgomery Police Department? Take the first step towards a rewarding career. And they have put out the incentives. There's like a $15,000 hiring bonus. You can, at this physical agility event, essentially see what's involved in large part, especially the physical aspect of it. So bring a valid photo ID, athletic clothing, running shoes, water. Just stop by. That's going to be at 5880 Old Hayneville Road. Again, that's the physical agility test for Montgomery's Police Department. If you're thinking about a great career and you're joining, and maybe you are physically fit, maybe you've been bragging about your prowess, well, go show it off and protect the city. And that's the physical agility test at 5880 Old Hayneville Road. 8:30 tomorrow morning. Y'all stop by. And, of course, you can always go to joinmgmblue.com. Now, Montgomery does need a new mayor, but don't let that deter you. Montgomery needs a police force, something fierce. Now, I'm sorry to come out of the gate so hot on a Friday, but this story that Hampton Harris has to tell, that I was told a little bit about by somebody who was there. Oh, it pissed me off. Not because, I'm having a bad day or because I designed my day or my life around wanting to make sure the people the Alabama machine backs lose. Because honestly, I have to admit the machine can be skilled in some ways. They play the game. But sometimes it's just a little much. And the mask drops. And you see the entitled bullying. It's like an 80s high school movie. Except they're dropping F-bombs. So I'm looking forward to talking to Hampton Harris. And again, that special election, August the 11th, this upcoming Tuesday. Get by there. Cast your vote. And this also goes for District 6. We have Gary Palmer, who was on yesterday, and Case Dixon, who is challenging him. Case will be on the show on Monday. That will also be voted on August the 11th, and that affects many of our listeners in northern Elmore County and north of there. You're still in District 6. I just got my little postcard that told me all the districts I was in. You should have too. But honestly, I'm ready, as always, for these campaigns to be over with. This was a little extra special something. But right near the end, and this I got a bad taste in my mouth near the end of that runoff, in particular between Barry Moore and Jared Hudson. I'd walk away from it liking both men, praying for both men. There was something about the tone of making distinctions at the end that made me go, this is, well, it's a fallen world, ain't it? Now, the whole Congressional District 2 candidates had one last shot in Enterprise at an Enterprise forum. This was yesterday, on Thursday. Candidates vying for that Republican nomination for Congressional District 2 made their final pitches to voters to a crowded Q&A session held at the Enterprise Country Club and hosted by the Wiregrass Republican Women's Club. The field of candidates who qualified for the special election in Congressional District 2 attended the meeting, which featured remarks from Hampton Harris, Christian Horn, State Rep. Rhett Marcus, David Matthews, Joshua McKee, and James Richardson. The format of Thursday's meeting differed slightly from previous forums, as members of the club were able to submit questions in advance for the candidates to answer. Questions ranged from the United States alliance with Israel to pressing the candidates on what they each thought were the most important issues, both generally and those unique to Congressional District 2. Concerns about ensuring support for the defense sector's presence in the area, the viability of the agricultural industry, and the Save America Act were frequently voiced. When candidates were asked about their individual records and previous statements, the afternoon took on a more personal tone, as David Matthews claimed he didn't want the president's endorsement. Now, after interviewing David for an hour and a half, I like David, but I don't know if that's going to help you, man. Matthews went on to allege that the only reason President Donald Trump endorsed Marquez was because his neighbor is a U.S. senator, referring to U.S. Senator Katie Britt. Well, that's true. Though I'm sure they had to go through the process. That's why I asked Rhett about that direct. Had to go meet with folks, and the legislature had to go meet with folks across the leadership up there in the House of Representatives, meet with Trump's political people. But I think a big part of this is Katie Britt was essentially his neighbor. Marquez stated earlier in the meeting that Trump, Britt, and the U.S. House Republican leadership endorsed him for his conservative record. Following the conclusion of the meeting, Wiregrass Republican Women's Club President Deborah Boyd touted the meeting's success, stating, "We tried to make a point that this is winner take all. We wanted to give you all the tools you need to make your decision." Turning to the potential for Democratic interference in the special election, Boyd closed her remarks by encouraging voters to call their friends, neighbors, and family to vote this Tuesday. Since Governor Ivey set the special election for August 11th, each of the 6 candidates has toured the newly drawn Congressional District 2, attending forums so voters can hear from the entire field at once. With one more joint meeting in Bullock County ahead on Saturday to conclude the circuit, all that remains is the voting booth on August 11th, where voters will decide who will face U.S. Representative, current Congressman Shamari Figures, in November's general election. Hampton Harris, again, will be joining us at 1 o'clock. And I don't usually say, go vote for this person, but at least the way I was told the story that he's going to tell, I'm at least going to ask him about, I think it's a good protest vote against folks that are a little too entitled at times. Entitled bullies. Anyway, welcome into the program. Happy Friday, everybody. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Of course, my expectation is the person who gets the big Trump endorsement wins. That's my expectation, because that's how it often works. Not just in this state, but around the country. Except there was there's a thing that happened that was a little bit of an upset of that rule. Normally you get the Trump endorsement, you get a senator's endorsement, you get endorsements from Jim Jordan, but the guy knows how to wrestle from Ohio, Jim Jordan, who's done a lot of great political theater. To what end? I don't know. Jim Jordan's endorsed somebody? Oh, wow. Well, he's probably a lock. So normally, yeah, these things can matter, but especially the Trump endorsement is the true currency here. But in an upset, Representative Andy Ogles, Tennessee, was defeated by Charlie Hatcher in Tennessee's August 6th Republican primary for the state's 5th district. Ogles, who was endorsed by Donald Trump, was first elected to the district in 2022. The House Freedom Caucus member's territory was redrawn by the state legislature earlier this year. The Associated Press called the race at 10:10 p.m., and as of 10:37 p.m., with an estimated 82% of the vote counted, Hatcher, the former Tennessee Commissioner of Agriculture, had 53% of the vote to Ogles' 46%. And Hatcher was backed by Tennessee's outgoing Republican Governor Bill Lee. So, I mean, these upsets can happen. Trump can endorse somebody, and I think I saw a Trump post saying, I went 22-1 this cycle, but what do they focus on? They act like my record's 1-22. They always focus on the loss. This is why I call them fake, the fake news, very fake news. We'll see what happens. 272-9228. It's 334-272-9228. If you want to get on the conversation, let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Your favorite caller.
Hello.
Hey, you know what amazes me so much? You know that vote they had up there with that guy up there, the Abdul, what's his name?
Yeah. The guy's going to be a nominee for the Democrats for the U.S. Senate in
Yeah,
Michigan. Yeah.
You know, what's interesting is I think some of the Democrats are starting to wake up because I see that they had like a 10, 20, 30% point lead going into the final day of election, and he only won by less than 1%. Now, what does that tell me? Other Democrats voted for somebody else on the ticket, or they didn't come out and vote?
Yeah, I mean, it could have been it split up. I don't know. I haven't looked under the hood and all that. But you're right. But here's the point. All these folks that are waking up, do they actually have the means to gatekeep this anymore? Because for years they could gatekeep it.
Well, you're right. You're right. They let them inside the tent, and now they're going to have a hard time getting them out.
Right.
If they ever want them out. Okay.
And though Bernie never really won an election beyond being senator in Vermont, he won the hearts and minds of a lot of America's youth.
Well, you got to remember who got Bernie out and set him up. That was the old establishment Democrat with Hillary, right?
Right.
So you know there's got to be some vengeance on his side, absolutely. Because what they call them, super delegates
at
the time? Yeah. Because he was gaining momentum, and they had to do something to slow his butt down.
And that's where they might be able to gatekeep the most is the superdelegate system. That way they can, even if they don't have the media anymore, they can't control the conversation, they can still control the party from within, as ugly as that will look.
Well, what it is the Democrats invited them in the tent in the first place.
Yeah.
And the reason why they did, they didn't have anything to run on, so they needed somebody and more people to come out and vote. So they said, hey, jump on board with us, man, vote with us on the Democratic ticket. And they said, okay. But their plan all the time was to take over.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful if you want to have power so bad. Who you sleep in bed with in the middle of the night makes a big change.
Just ask the Mensheviks about the Bolsheviks.
Well, ask Bernie why he won't do what's her name, Rebecca or Angelica Kong or Hong? What's her name?
Oh, Hong.
King Kong, yes.
Yes, that's what I said.
Okay, now it's simply amazing how she hates white people and gets stressed out by being around them, but yet she married a white man and had a child, so I guess she only halfway hates her child.
Yeah, well, it's just that adjacency to whiteness that can sometimes, just make you a little nervous. And it depends on what kind of white he is,
Oh, what level? Is certain levels of white?
Well, no, I'm wondering, what kind, let's bring back the old ethnic distinction. So did she marry, a Polish guy? Kind of my heritage a big bit? Now, there's a lot of depression. So maybe that's kind of like, man, that's sad sap, and he doesn't tan very well.
Yeah, but she hate Thanksgiving because it's depressing and it's white supremacist association. But you notice one thing? Bernie was asked publicly, and he said that he did. His answer was, "Are you going to back her up? Are you going to support her? Endorse her?" And he didn't say yes. He didn't say no. But what he said was, "I don't know enough about her." What kind of answer is that? That's a political answer, isn't it?
It's a dodge. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a dodge.
It's so obvious. I mean, how stupid does he think his voters and constituency is? Because he was for Mandami, Heartbeat, remember? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He's for Abdul, 100% come out and support him. But he did not say he was going to come out and support her. When they asked him point blank, well, I don't know. I just don't know enough about her. I can't really say. I just couldn't believe that. Well, I appreciate you taking my call today, Joey.
Thank you, Soldier Boy. 272-9228. Again, folks, if you want to get in on the conversation, that's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Eclectic Coins, brand new sponsor here. And I believe Doug, the owner, operator there, will be joining us next week in the studio to tell you more just directly about his great business. But they're at Eclectic Coins. It's Montgomery's largest gold and silver dealer. They offer free appraisals, estate liquidations. Yeah, say you do inherit a bunch of coins, a bunch of different metals. Like, you really don't know what you're looking at the end of the day. Well, get by there, and especially do that by appointment, and they can help you out. But they also do coin grading services. So you might have something that you know is a very nice piece of metal, that you know this is actually a truly historic coin, but you don't know exactly what the value is because, well, it needs to be graded. They can get that done for you there. And they have the largest inventory with the best prices paid on gold and silver there at Eclectic Coins. So you can always just stop by 543. That's 543 Northeastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They can also be reached on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Remember, Eclectic Coins, where collectors go, folks. And really, a lot of cool stuff. They have sort of stackable gold and silver. They've got the really cool idea that's now privately minted called Goldbacks that have a certain amount of gold literally printed into the bill. And a few states are now in that program, so you can have true sound folding money, walking around money. Or you could do more commemorative coins. They've got a lot of great stuff for, well, the nerd culture. And I say that with love. Like, really cool, like Marvel collectible coins, DC collectible coins, a lot of different commemorative things that different brands have put out there. There are these one-of-a-kind pieces. You showed me a really cool Fender commemorative coin. Or no, it wasn't even a coin. It was in the shape of a guitar, but it was pure silver. Very, very cool. And great presentation in the case. Point is, they got it going on there at Eclectic Coins. Again, they are Montgomery's largest gold and silver dealer. So stop by there today at 543 Northeastern Boulevard here in Montgomery, or you can go to eclecticcoins.com. And be sure to tell Doug that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. How to find the right mortgage lender. Most of all single-family sales involve obtaining a mortgage loan to finance the sale. How do you know you have the right lender? First, always use a local lender. There is no out-of-state lender that can match the services and the interest prices your local lender can provide to you here. We have many good quality lenders to choose from here in the River Region. Some guidelines for a buyer would be: 1, can I meet face-to-face with the lender, get to know that person before I turn over all my personal information to a complete stranger? Next, depending on your needs and price range, try to get more than one option with financing to choose from. Very important to know what are all the closing costs and prepaid costs up front so I can make an informed decision on which program to use. For help with a list of top lenders, call Bo Goodson for help. Bo Goodson, 221-2883 at the Goodson Group.
Trust is the number one reason why a patient chooses a healthcare provider. Adams Drugs has been your trusted healthcare provider since 1962 and has been voted the number one pharmacy in the River Region for many years. We strive each and every day to provide you the level of healthcare you have come to expect from Adams Drugs. The employees at Adams Drugs take pride in developing relationships with their patients. From making sure your prescriptions are filled correctly, to getting to know you and your family's needs, and following up on any questions you may have, Adams Drugs employees deliver top-notch service. We ask you to visit us at any of our locations in Montgomery, Prattville, Wetumpka, Millbrook, and Pine Level Marbury, and give us a chance to earn your business. You can find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. The robust American job market was anything but robust in July. The Labor Department reports employers unexpectedly cut 23,000 positions last month. The unemployment rate slipped to 4.1% as people exited the job market. The fines imposed on Facebook and Instagram's parent Meta just keep piling up. The latest one, a $546 million penalty issued by a judge in New Mexico who found that Meta had failed to protect young people using its platforms. Meta begs to differ and says it will appeal. Today's AAA national average for a gallon of regular gasoline, $4.04. That's down 2 cents from yesterday and down 6 cents from a week ago. Oil prices have fluctuated as hopes for a deal to end the Iran war rise and fall. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Mr. Electric of Montgomery. Mr. Electric, we've got the power to make things better. Visit MrElectric.com.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The dog days of summer continues with very little day-to-day change through the weekend and beyond. Today, sun and cloud mix with a high temperature in the middle 90s. In fact, we'll be in the middle 90s each of the next 5 days at least. Heat index each day, let's say 101 to 105 easy. Lows at night in the middle 70s. And each day, a few storms on the radar, but not many. Widely scattered, mostly afternoon and evening showers and storms, very random in nature, and they fade out at night. Have you heard any of this before? From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Again, Hampton Harris joining us. A little after 1 o'clock, and he's got a story to tell that makes me want to go vote for him just out of protest of the Alabama political machine. But we'll get to that after 1 o'clock when Hampton is here. A few headlines we can run through real quick. Trump is fighting back from after a Supreme Court ruling, new crackdown on birthright citizenship and birth tourism. And so they're essentially taking the ruling just given down by the Supreme Court and running with all the daylight the court gave them. We'll see if that actually applies. But I think people like Stephen Miller make a good point. If you lie about the porpoises that are bringing you into the country and the real point is just to have a baby, and especially think less south of the border in like Mexico or South America or our hemisphere, though that can be an issue. Think China, folks. Like, it's a real thing. And it should be not only frowned upon, it should be very, very illegal and not rewarded with anything, let alone American citizenship. Headline, now, it's from the New York Post, so it could be they're just rattling them sabers. But Putin's push, Russia could attack NATO, allied country, as early as this fall, U.S. intelligence warns. I don't know why they would do that. It seemed like that would be a really dumb move on the part of the Ruskies. But if they're getting desperate, and I haven't talked about the war in Ukraine for a while. We've talked about it in passing, Carrico and I. And it is incredible, like the drone technology and what the Ukrainians have been able to accomplish. But there is a little bit of a back and forth, a waxing and waning on who's on top, who's, on bottom in a lot of these conflicts. And as the technology continues to change, you got to wonder what will be the Ruskies' response. You could say they're really hurting, they're really depleted, they're really deteriorated. But it comes back to a question that I always had from the beginning of that war. If you truly back the Russian bear in the corner, and we learned yesterday from Erica Thomas, don't back black bears into corners. Black bears, brown bears, any panda bears, any sort of bears. Don't back them into corners. They will maul you. So with the new fancy drone technology and what is really becoming a dystopian nightmare, all battlefields through history can be dystopian nightmares. But especially once you cross that threshold after, say, the Napoleonic Wars. And again, wasn't like Napoleonic Wars or all the way back to the Peloponnesian Wars were wonderful. But there is something about modern machinery and modern methods you really see previewed in the Civil War, a few wars in Europe in the late 1800s. Then you really see it, I believe, the Russo-Japanese War in the early 20th century. And it just starts to become a meat grinder. And, of course, World War I is the perfect example of the meat grinder. Then you see the horrors of World War II. You get the nuke out of that, the atom bomb and nukes out of that during the Cold War. And it seems to now have kind of gone more back to a meat grinder with where you don't want to be a real human being out on that battlefield with drones buzzing you overhead unless you have true effective countermeasures. Again, all that said, beyond the technological back and forth, where you don't have to be some studied militarist. You don't have to be a member of the military. That's those folks' job. They're pretty good at it. It's more the general question of how much should you deteriorate Russia? How much should you back them into a corner? And I think the honest answer is nobody knows. It's a shot in the dark. You're rolling the dice. They could end up doing something crazy out of desperation. But we'll have to see. Again, U.S. intelligence saying Putin's Russia could attack NATO. Now, I don't know. Of course, you're getting a push by, I think, in honor of her now deceased friend, Lindsey Graham. I saw Katie Britt just now on Fox News or a few minutes ago really saying it's time to double down on showing Putin who's boss. I don't know. Perhaps it is time to double down, but you got to have that question in the back of your mind. If a war continues as this open sore on the face of the earth, war often does advance the technology, especially in weapons, but in other fields as well. And maybe advance is not always such a great thing in terms of means and methods of especially killing people. So if you have this open sore right there on the face of the earth that has become a testing ground for the latest methods and means of killing other fellow human beings, not to mention all the psychological and spiritual fallout from more and more body bags on both sides, it needs to end. I think Trump's instinct to try to end it is correct, but right now it continues to fester. And if it festers into an abscess that could break out beyond that, well, could we're getting a preview of something bigger down the road. God help us. But speaking of, advance is not always a good thing. BBC story here. And especially after we were reminded of Dr. Fauci, what the Homeland Security Committee did vote to hold him in contempt yesterday, after the Democrats essentially defended him to the hilt for whatever reason. Everything has to be a partisan exercise. But especially in light of all the talk and things we supposedly learned about gain of function and offshoring research to places like China, and just the whole newfangled approach to medicine, or so-called medical research. Well, what if you could add some artificial intelligence to that? Now, they already have, but what if you could, bring the best that AI has to offer to bear on this sort of medical research. The headline from the BBC is Artificial Intelligence Used to Design Brand New Viruses. Artificial intelligence used to design brand new viruses. Artificial intelligence has been used to design brand new viruses that are fully functional and can replicate in the lab, say U.S. researchers. They seem so proud of themselves. It is the first time whole genomes have been successfully designed by AI. This is kind of like your son coming home and said, Dad, look what I did. And it's a bunch of birds that have been beheaded. Yeah, look at what you did. What do you mean first time whole genomes have been successfully designed by AI? Are you a psychopath? The resulting 16 novel viruses were created to infect bacteria and pose no threat to people. Maybe. Maybe for now. The breakthrough has been labeled a very significant turning point in science that could unlock a new era for treating disease. Isn't this essentially what they said about gain of function as well? But experts have also warned AI-designed viruses raise, quote-unquote, urgent safety and security concerns. You think? We haven't learned a thing. We have not learned a single thing. AI tools are rapidly advancing and have already been used to design new antibiotics. I guess that'll be a great way to fight the leprosy we were talking about yesterday. But that is relatively simple compared with designing a new viable virus from scratch. Yeah, antibiotics easy. What if we made the viruses? This is a next step in the complexity that's designable by generative AI. This is the first time generative AI has been used to design a complete genome. It's something that can replicate and have other functions inside cells. This was new territory for us, said Brian Hie, or Hie, or Brian Hie, H-I-E. Anyway, he's an assistant professor at Stanford University. The technology works similar to large language models. That's comforting. But large language models like ChatGPT, which predict sequences of text. In this instance, the AI models known as Evo 1 and Evo 2 predict the language of life rather than words. The AI models were trained on genetic codes from viruses, bacteria, plants, and people. I'm all of a sudden thinking of Soylent Green as people. They were then refined to produce a type of virus known as a bacteriophage, which infect only specific species of bacteria. The Stanford researchers picked the most promising 302 AI designs and synthesized them in the lab. Of these, 16 proved effective at killing E. coli bacteria. That's the thing with all this, by the way, folks. It'd be great if you could create new technologies that actually improve the quality of human life, that actually eradicate certain diseases, that are startling new treatment. The question always becomes, how far do you go with it? So right now we're just using AI to do a whole genome, functional viruses that can replicate, and they're tailor-made to only infect bacteria. How long until we're like, well, what if we made something like a virus so we could study it that could infect human beings, but we're going to keep it like under lock and key? And honestly, if they decide to do that, who is they, and would they even tell us? Keep in mind that even after Barack Obama, to his credit, bans gain-of-function research in the United States, that little twerp I'm seeing on my screen right now, Tony Fauci, change the bureaucratic definition so they could continue the work and just offshore it to China. It was all for a search of a universal vaccine, and it'll really, if we create all these viruses from all the bat poop, then we'll really understand if you ever get a pandemic from the bat poop viruses. Anyway, back to this latest advance. Samuel King, a PhD student in the lab there at Stanford, said they realized the phage, the bacteriophage, were working in the early hours of the morning. The phage were placed on Petri dishes, growing a layer of bacteria on them, and the scientists waited for signs their new viruses were enjoying the feast. We were starting to see these clear spots, and it was just extremely exciting, says King. When the results were shared with the wider team, the room spontaneously burst into applause. Developing new phage could lead to new ways of treating infections that have become resistant to antibiotics. But the breakthrough also points to the ability of AI to design new biology that goes beyond the natural world, what is known as synthetic biology. Hie, or whatever this guy's name is, argues that this has the potential to massively improve human health. Yes, I can't deny that. It does. From just reading it, it does have that potential. It also has the potential for some destructive things, too. Let's just keep in mind. But concerns have already been raised that the same technology could be used maliciously to create new diseases. Yeah, you think? In a commentary accompanying the publication of the journal Science, Dr. Thomas Inglesby and Dr. Moritz Honke from the Center for Health Security at Johns Hopkins University wrote that the findings raise urgent biosafety and biosecurity questions. They said it was no longer a question of whether generative viral genome design will exist, but whether it can be used without, quote-unquote, enabling serious harm. People with actual brains. For example, they said new viruses with the potential to cause disease should not be pursued. That seems like common sense to me. If you're making stuff that actually cures disease, and you know that's all it can do is cure disease, cool, go for it. But if you're making stuff with the potential to cause disease, don't do it. It seems like a good rule of thumb. The researchers themselves took steps to maximize safety. They excluded viruses that could infect complex organisms from the training data set, performed the research on phage rather than viruses that infect people, and it all took place in a secure lab. Hie argues even existing safeguards go a long way towards ensuring that the technology is used for good. Yeah. Viruses are not alive, and it would take another significant leap for AI to generate living organisms. Somebody's still asking the question. There's somebody hoping one day my artificial intelligence is going to create life, or at least rearrange things to where it starts living. The genetic code of the phage is around 5,400 base pairs, letters long. The smallest genome of a living cell is around 500,000 base pairs. The human genome is 3 billion base pairs. I don't know. Just seems like for all the promise, and there is real promise, you got to give the devil his due. It's still the devil. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is East.
Hey, East.
Hey, man, listen, your discussion raised a memory of mine. I saw a band back in the 70s called the Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they had a song called Godzilla, and the lyrics went something like this. History shows again and again how nature points out the folly of man. Godzilla.
Godzilla.
How ironic it would be that we don't have some 40-story creature stomping around in our major cities, but we have a disease that jets and lasers and guns can't fight.
Or we're literally going to have, like, Spider-Man villains in our streets. They've accidentally created the Green Goblin.
Yeah. I was about to say they have those boards now. You can get those things that hover around.
Right.
You better watch out. Eddie's going to get one and fly it out at Lake Jordan.
Well, because, it's easy, especially for, a jackass on the radio like me to be like, okay, do the ones that don't have any potential to cause disease. Like, don't do those. If they have that potential, don't do them. And if it's all good, do those. I have a sense it's not that simple. Like, there might be a gray area there of when it becomes dangerous and when it becomes helpful.
Hey, Mary Shelley would love this.
Yeah. That was Dr. Frankenstein. He was my boyfriend. Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, you have a great day. Thanks for your show.
Appreciate you. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Oh, I think I have that very drop in the system here. Hold on 1 second, folks. Let me make sure this is correct.
Yes!
Yeah.
Say it! He was my boyfriend!
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Waverly Advisors. You might be saying, because you're just tuning in to this, you haven't listened the last couple of weeks, what's Waverly Advisors? Well, Invista Advisors, if you try to go to Invista Advisors' website, it's going to take you to waverly-advisors.com. And Invista Advisors has joined Waverly Advisors. It's a new chapter in their journey. They are now part of Waverly Advisors effective July 24th, 2026. Invista joined Waverly Advisors to expand the resources and services available to their clients while remaining aligned with a firm that shares their values. Still an Alabama-based firm, but a lot of cool new technology and things that allow what Brant McDonald has helped build alongside, of course, Austin Branco and many others over there. They keep the same philosophy. They keep the same investment strategies, but then they now, with those same values and strategies, have extra tools at their disposal to just provide a better, even better experience for their clients. So their mission there, now Waverly Advisors, remain centered on making a meaningful difference for their clients through comprehensive financial planning, investment management, and fiduciary advice. So, yeah, could be you're planning out a kid's future. Could be you're planning out your own estate and your own future. Could be you really need somebody to help you with that investment strategy, with investment management. Or it could be you run, say, a nonprofit or an endowment, or, somebody who does, who kind of needs some help. So there at Waverly, they believe wealth management is about more than managing assets. It's about building lasting relationships. And they really have done that over the years. So, again, Invista Advisors is now Waverly Advisors. And if you want to get in touch with them, still the same number, 387-0094. That's 387-0094. And be sure to tell them that Joey Clark, that fella on the radio, sent you. And 272-9228 if you want to join in on the program. Hampton Harris joins us after 1 o'clock. He's got quite a story to tell, which may motivate you to go vote just in protest of the political machine here in Alabama. But let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, it's Clint. Good day, sir.
Good day, Clint. How are you?
Good, pretty good. That was pretty good about Godzilla. Hadn't thought about that.
Good song.
Yeah. Hey, did Montgomery have any of the flock cameras yet?
I don't know. I know we got cameras. I don't know if we got the flock camera. The flock cameras freak you out?
No, I think they're okay myself. I ain't got a problem with them. So.
Yeah, they've been probably tracking you for years, knowing your history, Clint.
Yeah, probably, yeah. All right, let me know. Let everybody know if we do get some. So.
Yeah, if I catch wind.
I like to know. So.
Okay.
All right, have a great weekend, guys.
Thank you, Clint. You too. So I believe Hampton Harris is here. So let's do this. Hit this break. We'll be right back.
Joey Clark.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Ukrainian long-range drones have hit a warehouse in the Ural Mountains belonging to Russia's largest online retailer. The site of the attack over 2,000 kilometers from the border. Ukraine has been targeting distant Russian sites, showcasing its drone innovation as a response to the invasion. In Tennessee, U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn defeating John Rose in the GOP primary to succeed Governor Bill Lee, who is barred by term limits from seeking re-election. Memphis City Council member Jerry Green won for the Democrats. Former Tennessee Ag Commissioner Charlie Hatcher has defeated Congressman Andy Ogles at a Republican primary. Voters also chose two Memphis area lawmakers, Republican State Senator Brent Taylor and Democratic State Representative Justin Pearson, to face off in a reconfigured district. This is SRN News.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really helped me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-5331. 800-499-5331. 800-499-5331.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Victoryland.
Giveaways galore all summer long. Diamond Days Diamond Jewelry Giveaway and TV Tuesdays TV Giveaway with $185,000 in free play at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The dog days of summer continues with very little day-to-day change through the weekend and beyond. Today, sun and cloud mix with a high temperature in the middle 90s. In fact, we'll be in the middle 90s each of the next 5 days at least. Heat index each day, let's say 101 to 105 easy. Lows at night in the middle 70s. And each day, a few storms on the radar, but not many. Widely scattered, mostly afternoon and evening showers and storms, very random in nature, and they fade out at night. Have you heard any of this before? From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Tired of spending your weekends fighting weeds, patchy grass, and a mower that never starts? Mosley Lawn Pros is the solution. They handle residential and commercial lawn maintenance, landscaping, cleanups, and property care so you don't have to. They show up on time, do the job right, and leave your lawn looking sharp every time. Stop stressing over your yard and start loving it. When it comes to your lawn, call the crew your neighbors and local businesses trust. One call, one crew, problem solved. Mosley Lawn Pros, built on hard work, driven by quality. Find them today on Facebook or Google.
Man, everything costs more these days. Yep. That's why we need people like Rhett Marcus. He cut $1.5 billion in taxes.
Wait, $1.5 billion? That's a big deal. Didn't President Trump and Senator Katie Britt endorse him?
Uh-huh, they sure did.
Sounds like Rhett's the right man for Alabama.
I'll be voting for him on August 11th.
Me too.
I'm Rhett Marcus, the Trump-endorsed candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Rhett for Alabama.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, as promised, folks, I mean, y'all listened at the beginning, you heard my outburst. But I think it's great. Like, we should get by on Tuesday, August the 11th, and do our duty and vote, number one. And I would say, just as a protest vote, though I think there are positive reasons to vote for this fella, too, get by and vote for Hampton Harris. And Hampton Harris joins us now. How you doing?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. And by the way, that's rare. I don't usually go tell people go vote for this person. Like it just doesn't happen. I usually
I appreciate
quiet,
it. I appreciate that for sure.
But I was told to ask you, and I heard a little bit of backstory on something that occurred. I know y'all had a forum last night or yesterday.
That's right.
There's one coming up Saturday, but something happened on Tuesday.
So there did. We were out in Eufaula, and we had a great forum there. So it was great seeing all the people and over there in Barber County and getting to meet everybody. I really enjoy getting to meet people across this district.
So there was, though I was told, an incident that occurred behind the scenes.
Yeah. So what happened there? Just getting it out there is after the event ended, I was called over by Mr. Marcus and one of his team members, and they called me over, and they had an issue with one of the mail pieces that recently went out. Mm-hmm. The mail piece simply stated it was talking about the gas tax increase that Mr. Marcus had voted on back in 2019 that raised our taxes, and it says that taxes under him have gone up by 67% since he's been in office. And they had an issue with it and were berating me of some questions there. And I just wanted to go through that, kind of let that get here and kind of explain the 67%. It's the gas tax before he got in office was 18 cents per gallon. It is now 30 cents per gallon. And so you get 12 cents, a 12-cent increase, you get 12, divided by 18, you get 67% increase. That's how an increase is calculated. And so, I mean, same thing under Joe Biden's term. We had eggs go from $2 a dozen to $8 a dozen. That's a 400% increase.
Yes.
And so it's increased by 67% under him. And I guess they had an issue with the voting record and the transparency of it. And so we got it out there, and that was where kind of a lot of what the event happened there.
Well, and I was also told this wasn't like they came over and went, come on, man. It doesn't sound like it was very nice.
It was not nice, and I don't want to say too much about other opponents. I think we need to hold our Republican Party together. The infighting, we've got to come together and make sure we win this district back. But it definitely was not as cordial as we should have had it, and especially being the younger person in this race, it's crazy trying to be the mature one here. So. But we're really wanting to go forward and make sure we take this thing on Tuesday. We're excited and we're moving forward, and I think we need a lot more transparency on, I mean, just a voting record here and getting that out there.
Well, I don't know. I don't like bullying. And
Yeah.
I think you're right that the GOP should stick together, especially for this general coming up. And that pledge has been made that whoever wins this nomination, people are going to back one another.
That's right.
And that is the case because it's not as much as the district's redrawn. Shamari figures as a sitting congressman, and there's going to be a lot of national money.
That's right.
In that race. But also, I get tired of certain folks in Alabama politics who almost have this entitled mentality that they can put stuff out that rips people a new one. But if you maybe say, yeah, gas tax gone from 18 cents to 30 cents, 67%, and you put that out in a mailer, they want to call you names.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it boils down to, I think it shows that they're a little worried. If you look at a lot of the dark money that's come into this race recently, it would scare you. And so it's scary seeing what they're bringing in here trying to win this race.
When you say dark money, what do you mean?
I mean, different political action committees, super PACs that come in where you don't know who funded those campaigns. You can see the source, but you don't know who's funding that source. And there's been millions over this cycle coming into his campaign, and it doesn't really show you, and a lot of it comes from AI as well. And so it really makes you wonder who wants favors in the end.
Now let's back up, act like I've never met you. I'm just sitting down, and folks maybe just tuning in. Who's Hampton Harris? Why are you running? Why should I vote for you?
Yeah, so I'm Hampton Harris. I grew up in Montgomery. I was raised here. I was homeschooled here. My mom raised me and my four sisters and 2 brothers. And then I went to Auburn, Montgomery, got an economics degree, worked in the emergency room, got my law degree up in Birmingham. Then met my wife up there. We came back down. I opened up a real estate brokerage that I operate, have some people working for me there. And we do a lot of work with very large clients. And that is going to, I believe, gives me a lot of experience because you have people that really want 2 things. One wants the best price they can get, the other wants the most money they can get. And trying to find that common ground, get that deal through is really, I think it can really help in the political world as well because that's what you have up there is a lot of people that have disagreements that most of the time we at least hope have the same end goal in mind. And then I'm also an attorney, so I know how laws are written and I know how they're applied. So I think that helps me as well, just knowing that. And so that's kind of what I do. And one of my pastors told me when I was young that you have 2 choices. You can either complain about something or you can do something about it. And we had a representative up there that's not representing us. And no one else wanted to jump in this race back when it was a Democrat-leaning district. Mm-hmm. And so I jumped in because I could either sit there and complain about it or I could do something about it. So I was the only Republican to jump in against them. And we've been running, and we had a plan for victory. We were going to take this district back, and we still have that plan for victory, and we're going to take it back in November, and we're running just as hard because I believe that as a Christian, we have to make sure that our values are upheld in D.C., and because if we don't do it, nobody's going to do that on our behalf. Nobody's going to go up there and stand up for Jesus if they're not a believer. And so we have to get involved as Christians. We can't leave the Bible on the church pew on Sunday and not let it follow us through our daily lives, whether it's work, politics, play, wherever it is, because we are all part of the body of Christ.
And not to make it personal against Congressman Shamari Figures, how do you think the Democratic Party, because that's that team, is not living up to Christian values?
Well, the whole premise, and sadly the way the Democrat Party is going is towards socialism, and the whole premise of socialism, communism, is having your morality based on what's best for the state, what's best for the government. And to do that, they have to remove other sources of morality, and that's the Bible. That's why we see them trying to break up the nuclear family. That's why we see so much of this going on. And so that's what we have to be fighting against. We see so much of the young generation. The amount of depression in younger people across this nation is super high, and it's because they're falling away. They're getting wrapped into this lie of socialism and communism, and we need to carry the torch that Charlie Kirk picked up and was taking, and continue that legacy, and make sure that a young person like myself can get up there just like our founders were. A young person can make a difference. We can be a conservative. We can stand for Jesus, and we can get up there and make a difference. And it really, because I'm young, the part of the American dream is buying a house and starting a family, and it's almost become too expensive to do that. And so we need to make sure that we get that American dream, we get the cost of living down, we make it to where we're not going to have to be paying this astronomical American debt, or at least get it to stop going up and get it back in balance.
Well, and before you came in, I was talking about the latest in AI technology where they were creating viruses, like whole genomes of viruses that could replicate in the lab. Now it could only infect particular types of bacteria, not human beings. I'm like, well, yet. And when you see where the technology is going, the reason I bring that up here is an issue like being pro-life. It's not over because Roe v. Wade was overturned. It's certainly not over because the Democrats would want to put 15 members on the Supreme Court if they really get majorities up there.
That's exactly right.
But then it's also not over because the way the technology is going, it's bringing up new questions beyond even what we understand IVF to be about what is human life. And I really do worry that if we don't have a principled stand on protecting life at conception, we're going to create some man-made horrors.
That's true. It's true. And we got to make sure to protect the baby in the womb and outside the womb. It's extremely important. That's life. And we should not be treating it as if it's not. And that's another one of the reasons I got in this race, where there were some bills, one of them in particular that was voted against by our representative, that simply stated that children born alive after a failed abortion attempt should receive the same amount of care as other children. And we have to be making sure we take care of life. That is our most precious thing we have. And especially the unborn and the children, they're innocent, and we have to be protecting that. It's evil not to.
Now, about this, because I'm not going to make you have to display every bad word that was said and all the characters involved. Let's say it's one of your opponents, and people really rip it into you. And so here's how I'm going to ask this. You have, as you mentioned, have experience mediating between, let's say, some alpha personalities when they have a big business
right.
deal. So I'd imagine this isn't the first time you've heard some salty language or somebody's tried to come up and big boy you.
That's right. That's for sure.
And so I'm just wondering, like, when you see these sorts of tactics brought to bear against you, I mean, where does your mind go? Where's your head at?
Well, it's kind of to be expected. I think in real estate, we see this happen when somebody feels like they are falling behind in a deal. They are not getting the deal they're wanting, or they feel like someone is out there getting a better deal than them. And I think we may have that here a little bit. I think they're seeing the numbers, they're seeing the support, and it's something that there's really high tension in a race like this. And I think that's your I guess emotions sometimes come out, and I think that's what we're seeing on Tuesday night.
Yeah, and it does show that I think people they're not as confident as they normally would be. And I don't know. I think this sort of ugliness behind the scenes, I think it gets me going because it's typical of a lot of what happens in Alabama.
And it is sad because our voter turnout has been so low. We do not need to be giving people more reasons to not turn out because they don't like individuals in politics. We don't need to be giving, this is a cliche, but politics already has a bad enough name. Right. We don't need to be giving it a worse name. We need to make sure that people are like, oh, we need to get out and vote, and not feel like it's a lost hope. And so that is the last thing we need to do when our turnout has been so low. We've got to get people fired up to get out there.
Now, I just got a text of somebody who I like a lot saying, come on, tell Hampton to tell the story. But I appreciate your respect for wanting to keep people together to win a general election. So I hope you don't mind. But what I want to do here is I'm looking at a guest opinion at alpolitics.com from Dr. Randy Brinson, president of the Christian Coalition of Alabama. And he essentially explains a story that's got me so worked up, folks. So I'll just read exactly what Dr. Brinson put out there. In the world of politics, you never say never. However, in my nearly 40 years of involvement in Alabama politics, there was always an unwritten rule dating back to the Reagan era. Never speak ill of a fellow Republican. Now, I am not so naive to realize in the heat of a campaign, serious disagreements and accusations occur in private and can boil over into public discourse. But never have I previously heard, says Dr. Randy Brinson, that where these disagreements led to public confrontation and profanity. However, this is exactly what happened Tuesday night in Barber County. As a congressional candidate forum was wrapping up in Eufaula on Tuesday night, when State Representative Rhett Marcus and his campaign consultant Angie Horn began hurling F-bombs and profanity at Hampton Harris, a fellow candidate for the Republican nomination, in front of a group of startled guests and participants as they were leaving the forum. The confrontation was initiated when Angie Horn, a consultant to Rhett Marcus, flashed a Facebook post from a supporter of Hampton Harris over Marcus' gas tax votes in the legislature. Rhett Marcus, obviously irate, called Hampton to his display table to directly confront him over the post. Immediately, Miss Horn stuck her phone in his face and began to accost him. First, she asked him if he posted it and if he approved of it. She then proceeded to call him an effing liar, an effing stupid. Then Rhett Marcus started cursing again in front of the others, echoing the same line. Are you effing stupid? Are you effing lying? And ended the tirade with a message from Angie Horn that you're going to pay for this. Dr. Randy Brinson goes on and says, lost in the entire exchange was the fact that indeed Rhett had voted for for the legislation that has increased the gas tax by 67% on Alabama families and climbing. This kind of inexcusable behavior can be expected from someone like Angie Horn, says Randy Brinson, despite how despicable. But for a state representative seeking a congressional seat, it demonstrates a total lack of decorum and civility. Christian Coalition of Alabama finds this behavior equally deplorable and calls on the Marcus campaign and Representative Marcus to apologize to this gentleman sitting right here in front of me, folks, Mr. Hampton Harris, and those that witness such behavior. Christians should equally be appalled when political ambition and aspirations cause such vile behavior and rhetoric. In an era where the Republican congressional candidates have been rocked by sexual harassment and domestic violence accusations, it's time for reflection on where politics is taking us and who we need to represent us. In response to this unfortunate event, Hampton Harris took the insult, stood by his position, and then walked away without escalating the situation. That's the sign of a true statesman. Maybe that's why nearly every pro-life, pro-family, and pro-Second Amendment organization has endorsed his candidacy. That's Dr. Randy Brinson's opinion, but I think I share it. Well, that sucks. Like, no, seriously, then it adds more color to the situation. And good on you for not wanting to rehash it yourself.
Well, I appreciate it.
But sometimes it's a little too much, the entitled sort of bullying of certain folks in this state.
Yeah, and I think we need more transparency. I think that's where this came from, is just getting that voting record out there, and we should take responsibility for what we've stood for, and that's what we have. I think that's something that our country needs as a whole, is we need to make sure we take responsibility for our actions.
Amen. Amen. Now, I've asked you this before, but are there some folks up there in the Congress that you see, and you're like, I really want to work with that guy or gal?
For sure. Yeah, I really love, and I actually saw him the other day and told him that I was planning on replacing him as the youngest sitting Republican representative. I think Brandon Gill's been doing a really good job up there of representing, and I think it would be really fun to work alongside him and members of the Freedom Caucus as well. I think there are some really great people up there that are really standing up for the Bible and standing up for our rights and making sure we represent Jesus and the nation very well.
Yeah, I think that guy's going places. Like you talk about not being intimidated. He keeps his frame in those congressional hearings in such a beautiful way. Doesn't let people get off the hook.
He does.
Yeah, and it's something to see. Well, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. You got time to stick around?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll continue with Hampton Harris, candidate for Congress. And again, the special primary election where it's winner take all. There's no runoff after this. You don't even have to get a clear majority, just the most votes, the plurality of all these folks in this race. That is August the 11th. Y'all get out and vote. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
We get this question all the time.
Do you handle that?
Buying or selling a home?
Yes.
Commercial?
Yes.
Land or investments?
Absolutely. Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. One team.
Every real estate move. 334-322-0662.
Before you commit to that plumbing repair or upgrade, get a second opinion from Headley Plumbing. Our estimate could save you thousands. We do it all: residential, commercial, and septic tank service, serving the entire river region. No membership, no contract, just fair, reliable service. Call Headley Plumbing at 285-3667 or visit headleyplumbing.com. In our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the river region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a man from outer space. What's up, Earthling? I see you've landed your spacecraft over there in that field. That's right, man. My question is, why have you landed here on our planet? I came to see David Ernest, the asset preservationist. Yeah, man. I wanted to see if he would take a look at my portfolio for me. Well, before you make the trip over there, call him on his toll-free number, 833-596-7233. And I understand those last 4 digits spell out the word safe. That is correct. Funny thing happened the last time I came to Earth. What was that? I went to the Walmart, man. Yes? And I accidentally went in the back door. How did that work out? Well, they stopped me and very gently told me that I needed to go around front and come in. And then what did you do? I said, cool, man. Take me to your greeter. You flew millions of miles just for that. Hey, man, I don't write them. I just read them.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program brought to you by great local business, Pest Pro Service. And they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that great team are ready to help you with any and all of your pest control needs. It's right there in the name. The best way I would say to sell them is just work with them. It's that easy. But they started 5-6 years ago in the middle of the pandemic. It was like 2-3 people on staff. It's now dozens of folks, trucks serving all over the river region. So when you see a business like Pest Pro Services, like grow leaps and bounds where they needed to get a new headquarters right there on Main Street in Millbrook, that shows how good they are. People are very satisfied with the services they are providing, which includes like basic pest control, which they have this monthly subscription model, allows you to control costs around the year, and they visit on a regular basis. But if something specific that you want to take care of, like mosquitoes or termites, fire ants, or maybe there's a squirrel in your attic. Who knows? Maybe one of those like 8-9 banded badgers that carry leprosy I was talking about yesterday. They can handle it. So check out Pest Pro Services today. You can always go to ppsriverregion.com to learn more, or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces, very active Facebook page, or call them direct. 265-9990. That's 265-9990. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you. Again, in studio with us is Hampton Harris. And I just think it would be pretty great to go vote for this guy on Tuesday. I'm just saying.
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. No, I told somebody, a good friend the other day, he called me, he was asking about the candidates. And I'll be straight up. I was like, well, Marcus has got the Trump endorsement, so it's kind of... But, you know, we could surprise and shock the world and upset the political machine and establishment around here, so I'm going with Hampton.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've seen it done twice this week already, and we're going to see it again next week. We're excited.
Now, let's go to the phones. Got a few calls here and talk to Sam. Hey, Sam. Sam.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys. I'm in a gas station over on 231 getting me a chili hot dog, but I wanted to thank y'all for, I want to thank you, Joey, for bringing on Mr. Hampton at Harris Hampton. Is that right?
Hampton Harris.
Hampton Harris, right on. What I wanted to point out, this whole thing about red, I'm glad y'all are talking about the voting record, because all I know about Mark is I'm getting 3 or 4 flyers literally every day in my mailbox. Got deep pockets, okay, and commercials. All I know about him is that he wants it bad. I got a thing from him, a flyer from him yesterday. It looked like a wedding invitation. It was fancy. So I'm just wanted to throw that out there. Thank y'all for pointing out that he is absolutely a company man. And that's my 2 cents.
Well, I appreciate it, Sam.
Thank you.
Well, and you really have made inroads with the veterans community, and it's not like you. I think it came naturally because, especially what your wife does.
Exactly right. Yeah. So with my wife being active duty military, anything that happens to our military affects me directly. And then I have one grandfather that was in Vietnam. He was one of the, I think, 2 people in his platoon that made it back from his deployment there in Operation Buffalo. So he got back, and another grandfather that was in the Air Force. So I have seen a lot of, whether it's mental health, physical health issues with the VA. It's really had me come to see what we need to fix for our veteran community to make sure that we take care of them, because they signed the contract to go die on our behalf, and we need to stand up to our side of the contract and give them the benefits that they need for doing that for us and giving us the freedom that we have today.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear. And speaking of veterans, we have Keith from River Region Veterans. Hey, Keith, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Hampton, just spoke to you a few moments ago at the multiplex.
That's right.
Is Troy on there with you guys today?
No, he's not.
No? Well, yeah, I just echo what you've been saying, Joey. I mean, Hampton is the guy. I think he can retake District 2 for the Republicans. And from what I've heard, Hampton, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard from the Democrat, Shamari figures, that this district is the largest veteran district in the state, the newly drawn District 2, because of not only Maxwell Gunter, but also Fort Rucker, and I think he even tried to include Fort Benning in Georgia in this whole circumference.
Yeah, can't forget
it encompasses a lot of veterans.
Can't forget the 187th over there as well, and we've got the fighter wing and the guard unit. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So you cannot underestimate the veteran vote in this race, and I think Republicans that do that are making a grave mistake. I wanted to mention, unfortunately, there's a lot of black marks going back to last year with SB 67. That was horrendous.
That's right.
On the back of what Republicans did and the impact on veterans. But then you have the scholarship bill that was cut in half that would help veteran families go to college. And then you have this TACAVA, Take Care of American Veterans Act, that was going to cut $51 million from people who suffer with tinnitus and sleep apnea. And I'm glad it looks like that bill has died. But, these are bad signals for the Republicans. And I was going to say, I've talked to Admiral Kent Davis about this, and it's going to haunt them because they're losing a huge opportunity. They need to be standing up. They need to shine by helping out the veterans and not turning their backs on them. And the downside is Democrats are taking notice, and they're going to try to say, hey, Republicans aren't helping you.
Yeah.
Come talk to us. We'll take care of you. Tonight in Daphne, they're having the Purple Heart ceremony, and I found out that Philip Isler, who's running for lieutenant governor on the Democratic side, had approached Kent Davis and said, hey, we've got a resolution passed by the state legislature to recognize Purple Heart recipients. Can we come down and make this presentation? He didn't write it. It's not just about him, but it's about the whole legislature. But he's the one that approached Kent about getting on the agenda to talk about it. So I said, this is just the first of many signs where Democrats are going to try to take the advantage that Republicans are dropping the ball on.
Yeah, especially SB 67 here in Alabama. That really took away a lot of voices for the veteran community.
Yes, it has. And it's a sad thing. But Hampton, I applaud you. You are doing a great job. I swear I don't know where you're finding the energy. Running all over the state, meeting with veteran organizations. I told you at the multiplex, I think if I had the opportunity to address a forum, I would say to the Republicans, you got to put yourself on record saying if you win your race, you will come to veteran service organizations like the VFW, the American Legion, RIVIC, and talk to the veterans, interact with the veterans, find out what's going on with the veterans.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
they haven't been coming, but you have, but most of them haven't.
That's right. That's right. And I want to be a congressman of the people that they can contact, they can reach out to, they can hold me accountable. I don't want to, unlike a lot of politicians these days, I don't want to be held accountable to a bunch of dark money coming in. It's going to be to the people of the district. And that's what I want to do. I want to make sure I'm on Armed Services Committee to make sure we're looking out for all of our veterans and farmers as well in the Agriculture Committee, but specifically the Armed Services Committee, because there's so many veterans and so much military in this district. And we have to make sure the Democrats want to take a lot of these bases out of Alabama, move them to Colorado, move them to other states. We need to make sure they stay here because that would cripple the cities that they're in.
Well, Keith.
Oh, absolutely.
Keith, I've got some other calls rolling in here, but I appreciate not only calling, but the work you do. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you, Joey. I appreciate you guys and what you do to help our cause and the veterans. So thanks a lot, Joey. Have a great day, and you too, Hampton.
You too.
Now, let's go to Duke. Now, Duke, I got a question for you before you have a question for Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
Are you voting in the Republican primary on Tuesday?
I haven't given much thought.
You have not given it much thought.
No, but
Okay.
you may convince me to do otherwise if this young man asks some of my questions in a few seconds.
I just wanted to ask you that first. Go ahead.
How you doing, young man?
Doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Oh, I couldn't get any better. I hear you speak highly of your religion and your Christianity and stuff like that, and which is fine. You know, I've heard many politicians speak about their religion and how they love God, and we should take that to the White House. But are you going to throw out the window your religion and your beliefs as a true Christian once you get in the White House, like most of them? I mean, are you going to go along to get along to make Trump happy, or are you going to be fighting over Trump like the rest of them? That's one of my first questions.
Yeah, for sure. So I think if you ask anyone that's ever known me, they'll tell you that, and a lot of times in politics, you find people that jump in, they become Christians very, very quickly when it comes to election season. But if you look back and you ask anyone, I've stood the same way. I've stood for the same thing my entire life. And if you look at when I got in this race and the uphill battle I had back when it was drawn to be a Democrat district, I was saying the same thing. And I believe that kind of shows where I'm at and where my heart was at when I got in. It wasn't when it got easy. I didn't want a promotion or anything like that. I wanted to jump in this race because it was the right thing to do. And I think that really shows what I'm willing to stand for. And that's a promise that I make to everyone when they say, what's one promise you can give us when you go up there? And my promise is always, no matter what pressure is being applied, whether it's from the Democrats, from the Republicans, some president down the road, whoever it may be, if they say to ask me to do something that is against God's word, I will stand with God's word 100% of every time.
So with that said, sir, you know, I can reel off a bunch of things that this president we got now in the White House, the things he say, and when people die, he's glad they're dead. So most of the people, they're afraid to speak up when he does something, out of ordinary with this country.
Duke, you're judging whether or not somebody is standing by their principled Christianity on whether or not they were willing to criticize Donald Trump?
Yes, I want them to if you say you're a Christian and want the White House to be a Christian nation or whatever, why are we failing for, is it okay for our kids to cuss like the president? I mean, and what if your kids come on and say, I heard the president say those words, why are you not mad about that, Daddy?
No, ideally, it would be good if we cleaned up our language. But I think Hampton's point was on principled matters, especially where he has the power to vote, he's going to side with God's word. And there's going to be occasions where, again, Trump's only going to be there for another 2 years.
No, but you can't pick and choose what sin you're going to ignore or respect.
So if you're a Christian, you have to call out everybody's public sins, especially ones that are pretty baked into the cake about Donald Trump?
No, that's not what I'm saying. We've seen it. Out of from the corner of our eye. Basically, we don't have to look straight ahead and see it all. But all this corruption going on in this White House, like they lied about this man cut the pool and all that. But you got so-called Christians up there that go along and say that I believe that also. But at the end of the day, it was a lie.
Cut the food
are
for
you going to
who?
go along to get along like the rest of them? Over what you believe in is right or wrong, sir. That's all I'm asking.
Now, I want to stand by, like I said, stand exactly by what I stand for and the things that I can control. And I can't control what other people do, but when I get a vote that comes by me and it's asking me to do something that was against
Can you
God's
give
word,
your opinion? Can we know that you gave your opinion saying I don't believe in that? And if you happen to lose your job behind it, because most of them afraid to lose their job. Once they go up there, they got to, play ball.
One of the issues that we have is that a lot of politicians think it is a career, and that's not originally what it was made to be. You're supposed to be up there to represent the people and do the job, and it's not meant to be a lifelong career. So that's one of the big issues we have with a lot of politicians up there is they are afraid to lose their job, and it's not supposed to be a job.
Right, and also, Duke, it sounds like you just want the Republicans to
beat man up and beat men and women when you
to sound like Democrats when it comes to Trump.
I'm talking about all of them. Democrats and
right.
Republicans.
All of them. Everybody needs a man up. I hear you.
Once we send them up there to do a job, they are there. Yes, sir, master. What else you want me to do? Yes, sir, master. Trump. I'm gonna do what Donald Trump to do, like Tuberville. He's same thing. And all we hear out his mouth, what Trump want, what Trump want. I want to see what the hell you gonna do. I'm sorry for cussing, so I know you're Christian.
You see, well, dude, I got to run, man. I got other calls.
All right.
Thanks. Yeah. Let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is Eddie from Southeast Alabama.
Hey, you're on with Hampton Harris.
Yeah, I've been communicating with Hampton a little bit on Facebook back and forth, but I'm just wanting to know that I hate what happened to him in Barber County, but that's what you got to expect from our Wiregrass delegation in the State House. They all about the same way. But you got my vote, and you got my wife's vote.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And anyhow, you good to go with my vote.
Folks, it's Tuesday, this coming Tuesday.
That's right.
August the 11th. Get out there and vote. Well, I appreciate it,
And
man.
I hate I had to follow up on Duke.
That was awesome.
Well, just tell him that your opponent's man is Trump endorsed, so that ought to get Duke out to vote for you.
Very good.
That's good.
Fantastic point.
Have a good one.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hello.
Hello. Who's this?
It's Love.
Hey, Miss Love, do you have a question for Hampton Harris?
Yes.
Okay.
When you get in, sir, would you look out for scams? I had one pull on me 3 years in a row. There, when I dialed the number that said for veterans to talk about problems, and it said White House Hotline, it was a scam. Sometime later, I found out that the patient advocate at the VA here in Montgomery told me everything I had filed, complaining about. They was good complaints. But can you kind of look out for that, please?
For sure. We'll be looking out for all kinds of scams and waste, fraud, and abuse. We got to make sure we don't have any Leering centers in Alabama or anywhere in this country and get a lot of these scams out of there and make sure we have more transparency, because that's one thing that I think everyone on both sides of the aisle can agree on is we need more transparency, except probably some of the ones that have been up there for a while. They probably don't want that. But for sure, we'll definitely be looking out for that kind of stuff and making sure as well that we get our Social Security taken care of, because we're looking at running out of money there quick. And anybody that's ever run a business or balanced a checkbook knows you can't wait till you're out of money before you start facing the problem. We got to get ahead of it so our seniors don't lose their paycheck they've been relying on and they paid into.
Well, Miss Love,
Facing the problem, I have helped 3 soldiers, my fellow comrades, get their paycheck because the VA didn't. We need our money, okay? And I hope you great success. Thank y'all.
Thank you so
Miss
much.
Love. So I'm kind of running out of time here, but kind of any last parting words, last pitch you want to throw out to the voters to get out there on Tuesday?
We got to get out there and vote. We got to make sure we send somebody up there that's not going to bend, that's going to get up there and cut taxes. We're going to stand for the rights of the unborn, stand for the rights of children, make sure parents can raise their children how they want, educate them how they want. We keep the border closed, and it's not going to bend. We stand for our veterans and our military, and someone that gets up there and makes sure that Jesus is upheld in D.C. Because, like I said earlier, and I'm going to keep always repeating this, if we don't do it as Christians, nobody's going to do it on our behalf. And we see people coming in here from Sharia law, trying to bring it to America. And if we're not on the offensive, making sure that we bring the light, darkness will come in. And so we have to make sure to stand. And so, yeah, check me out, HamptonHarrisForAlabama.com, Facebook. You find more information about everything we talked about today. It's on Facebook. And we have a comment about Tuesday night as well on there. So just get out there and check us out and get out to vote on Tuesday and bring all your friends and families and churches.
Well, like I said, you got my vote.
I appreciate it.
Y'all stay tuned. More after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
From weddings and concerts to cookouts and construction sites, TT Porta Toilets has been serving Central Alabama for over 30 years. Whether you need standard portable toilets with wash stations or upscale restroom trailers for special events, the Tierce family has the right solution for every occasion. So when you're planning your next big event or project, make it easy on yourself. Call 285-5513 or visit ttportatoilet.com. TT Porta Toilets. Clean, convenient, dependable.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Now open from 6 to 5. Foggy or drafty windows? Alabama Wholesale Lumber's got energy-efficient replacements that'll save you money. Call their millwork pros today at Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The dog days of summer continues with very little day-to-day change through the weekend and beyond. Today, sun and cloud mix with a high temperature in the middle 90s. In fact, we'll be in the middle 90s each of the next 5 days at least. Heat index each day, let's say 101 to 105 easy. Lows at night in the middle 70s. And each day, a few storms on the radar, but not many. Widely scattered, mostly afternoon and evening showers and storms, very random in nature, and they fade out at night. Have you heard any of this before? From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Back to school shopping starts now, and ASC Credit Union has you covered. Our back to school loan helps you pay for supplies, laptops, clothes, and more. Stop by your local ASC branch or apply today at yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Dennis. Hey, Dennis, how you doing?
Okay.
What's on your mind today?
Well, I just wanted to say that I am also a supporter of Hampton, and I've been supporting him ever since he entered the campaign back before they redrew the district. But I was really appalled. I just really first hearing of what happened in Barber County actually earlier today. And I'm just appalled that a sitting state representative and someone on his campaign would openly attack another candidate like that publicly. But I'm proud of Hampton because he didn't respond in kind. He stayed calm. And that's the kind of guy we need supporting us from District 2, not somebody who takes issue with someone else calling him out for what is his public voting record.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I don't know if I would have had the composure, even though I'm doing better these days. I don't know if I would have had the composure with somebody going after me like that. I sometimes would have fight fire with fire, but it shows not only Hampton's composure, but it also shows that, you know, this ain't his first rodeo with somebody, you know, who's worth a good bit of money trying to big boy him.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm also appreciate the way that he has been openly supportive of the veterans in the river region.
Absolutely.
Particularly.
Absolutely.
And he's got my support, he's got my wife's support, and hopefully with more people hearing what's been going on, he'll garner a lot more support.
Yeah, and tell your friends, folks. And again, the day is August the 11th. It's this upcoming Tuesday. Get out and just cast your vote. It won't take long at all. It's going to be a small ballot. It's just the congressional race.
Well, I've been lighting up Facebook with it, and I just wonder if that might have been one of my posts that got him in trouble in Barber County. I don't know, but I hope so, kind of.
Well, I appreciate the call, Dennis, and appreciate what you said, and yeah, thank you, sir.
Well, I appreciate all you do, and good time to be a first-time caller. Thanks for what you do.
Amen. Call again. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Yeah, and again, I'm quoting Randy Brinson. He did an op-ed at ALPolitics.com where it was a congressional candidate forum in Barber County this past Tuesday night when State Representative Rhett Marcus and his campaign consultant, Angie Horn, began hurling F-bombs, profanity at Hampton Harris. And this is in front of a bunch of folks, startled guests and participants as they were leaving the forum. Confrontation was initiated when Angie Horn, a consultant to Rhett Marcus, flashed a Facebook post from a supporter of Hampton Harris over Marcus' gas tax votes in the legislature. Rhett Marcus, obviously irate, called Hampton to his display table to directly confront him over the post. Immediately, Ms. Horn stuck her phone in his face and began to accost him. And again, this is Randy Brinson, the president of the Christian Coalition, writing this. He, I believe, saw this firsthand. First, she asked him if he posted it and if he approved of it. She then proceeded to call him an effing liar or effing stupid. Then Rhett Marcus started cursing again in front of the others, echoing the same line, "You're effing stupid," or "an effing liar," and ended the tirade with a message from Angie Horn that you are going to pay for this. Lost in the entire exchange was the fact that indeed Rhett had voted for the legislation that has increased the gas tax by 67% on Alabama families and climbing. Randy Brinson writes, this kind of inexcusable behavior can be expected from someone like Angie Horn. Yeah. I don't know the woman, but I've heard things. Despite how despicable, but for state representative like Rhett Marcus seeking a congressional seat, it demonstrates total lack of decorum and civility. Yeah, it does. This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage, and they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you whether you're looking to buy a place or refinance the current home you're in. Yeah, especially if you built up a lot of equity, it could be a great way to give you some breathing room when it comes to the debt load you might be carrying, or give you some peace of mind when it comes to your retirement fund. Make sure that everything is shored up for years and years and years to come. Or it could be you just want to reinvest in your property or go in that, maybe you always wanted to go to Japan for a week or two, do that dream vacation. They can help you out there at Alabama Home Mortgage with a refinance, no matter your goals. And if you're looking to buy, they can walk you through that home buying process, especially if you're a first-time buyer, from pre-approval all the way to closing day. So check out Alabama Home Mortgage. That's 567-4223. Just call them direct there, get the conversation going. 567-4223, or you can apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon. prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Let's quickly go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
This is Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
I'm all right. I was going to let Hampton know that I've always been told that if you have a conversation with anyone, you have to use foul language that shows you're intelligent and you're ignorant all at once.
Yeah, and what also shows, I think, a sort of entitlement of how dare you actually send out a mailer attacking us. And it's like, wait, I thought that was the game here, guys. Come on.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Hampton also, backs the military. I served 23 years in the Army, and I can tell you right now, and I've been part of the VA system since I was born, and that's a long time. And it doesn't look good for veterans when veterans not want to look after you and take care of you and your family.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're getting out there to vote on Tuesday.
Oh, most definitely.
Well, I love hearing that, and appreciate you calling in, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. And 272-9228, but I got to hit another break and hopefully talk to Michael Cohen on the other side of this break. I'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Maybe you're doing well in sales, but you're ready for something bigger. At Blue Water Broadcasting, you'll help local businesses grow with customized marketing campaigns that combine the reach of 7 radio stations with powerful digital solutions. We're looking for someone who enjoys meeting people, earning their trust, and delivering results. If you're driven, professional, and ready to build a career, not just another sales job, we should talk. Visit BlueWaterBroadcasting.com and send me your resume today. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. And as promised, we have on the line Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Life's good. Just ready to go vote for Hampton Harris on Tuesday in this congressional race. That's how I'm doing.
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
But are things going well there at Cohen's? Because, I'm a Cohen's customer. I'm very satisfied. And I'd imagine when you start asking folks, especially like the generations, you're going to get something like really good reviews.
Well, that's right. That's right. And I really got to hand it to our delivery crew. They have been focused with their customers. They're giving them great service. I don't remember what we had. We had 100 and something reviews, and now we're at 500 reviews. And anyway, some of the customers are taking or letting us take pictures with the customer with the appliance, and that's getting posted. But I'm just, I gotta give them props because they have done an incredible job. A ton of 5-star reviews that the customers have left us, and we're thankful that we have such conscientious people that are out there. That's the last leg of contact with us. Typically they start with the receptionist, they go to sales, they go to customer service, And then the delivery crew, which are the ones out there trying to beat the heat of 100 degrees and God knows what kind of humidity we got out here. But they're the ones that are navigating to get the old refrigerator out, the new refrigerator in, get your washer and dryer connected, and get everything hauled off or put on the patio for you so that you can give it to a friend or neighbor or what have you. So, I mean, we're really blessed to have such great people that are on our delivery crew.
Well, folks, it's great when the products are great, and they are great there at Cohen's on the electronics and the appliance side, but then to have that extra mile service, really looking out for you. There's a reason. Generations of folks through the family keep going back to Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. You can always learn more at thinkcohens.com, shop online, but I really encourage you to stop by, see them in person, get to know them at 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery, open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael and be like, hey, I heard you on that radio show with Solo Joe.
Solo Joe, and he was doing a great job.
I'm working at it, man. I mean, yeah. I think sometime next week we might have a sighting of Eddie Bader, but I don't know. I'm enjoying it doing it by myself.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, you get to, like Frank Sinatra said, you get to do it your way.
Indeed.
Y'all have a great weekend. Come see us.
Appreciate
Let
you,
us
Michael.
help you make the right choices. Thank y'all. Take care.
Y'all get by. Get by Cohen's Electronics and Appliances here in Montgomery. So we got a whole other hour coming up. And I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about. But I'm sure I'll figure it out. Because, the weekend's here. I don't have any big plans. Anybody go see the Spider-Man movie? I don't know. I saw The Odyssey, and my grandfather and I recently rewatched the one where there's like multiple Spider-Men in it, like when they break the multiverse or something with Doctor Strange. It's okay. I don't know. I might try to go see that this weekend. Or, just stay inside and like read the good book or something. Or actually, I've been reading through St. Augustine's Confessions. Remarkable book. It's a reason it's a classic. And, for all the newfangled evangelism that's out there, and some of it's fantastic, it's really hard to beat the folks whose own testimony stands the test of time. And it's also surreal to really feel, like, empathize, sympathize with a man who's been dead for 1,800 years with Augustine of Hippo. In particular, the part I just read was him. It's one of the first known tributes to a woman that isn't like some goddess or queen or princess or something. In most writing, it's going to be myths that the women, the female characters are goddesses or queens or princesses or whatever. This is the first known tribute to a woman that is not that's a normal woman, and it's after his mother passes away. And he credits his mother's tears and his mother's faithfulness to the Lord is what really brought him back after years of being astray. And so when she passes, he writes up this long tribute of her life and the final days of her life. And even though it's a story from thousands of years ago, it hit me right in the heart. So I could talk about that more, but there's some news and stuff we can get to. Anyway, y'all stay tuned. Final hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The Senate has confirmed Cameron Hamilton as head of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the former Navy SEAL returning to the agency he briefly led last year. It's unclear whether the Senate will actually vote on Todd Blanche's nomination for Attorney General on Friday, which could be the upper chamber's grand finale of the summer before it exits Washington for the remainder of August. Newly released surveillance video shows a gunman at an Idaho In-N-Out Burger killing one of 3 people last week by firing through a drive-up window. Police in Twin Falls says they still do not have a motive for that shooting. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said trade negotiations with the United States had turned nasty. President Trump had criticized Canada during a speech this week in Las Vegas. This is SRN News.
Full speed into summer, and if you're thinking about buying a home this year, here's what you need to do first. Get pre-qualified. Not once you found the house, now before you even start looking. Here's why. In this market, houses sell in days, sometimes hours. The buyers who win aren't the ones with the highest offer. They're the ones already approved, ready to move, with a lender who can actually close. If you're not pre-qualified, you're a week behind. Maybe that house is gone. Well, I want to tell you about Fellowship Home Loans. For over 20 years, my friends Mike and Brian, guys that I've worked with, they've built Fellowship around one thing, getting loans done for real families with unique situations. They use programs and options that typical lenders don't take the time to explore. Down payment solutions that fit the way people actually live. Everything's done in-house, one roof, one team, all with a servant-led mentality. Get pre-qualified today. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G or call 800-510-MIKE. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines.
Truckers, listen up. A $2,500 sign-on bonus only at Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Work for a company that puts God and family first. 855-777-9785. Wiley Sanders Truck Lines.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The dog days of summer continues with very little day-to-day change through the weekend and beyond. Today, sun and cloud mix with a high temperature in the middle 90s. In fact, we'll be in the middle 90s each of the next 5 days at least. Heat index each day, let's say 101 to 105 easy. Lows at night in the middle 70s. And each day, a few storms on the radar, but not many. Widely scattered, mostly afternoon and evening showers and storms, very random in nature, and they fade out at night. Have you heard any of this before? From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News.
U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville is gravely concerned about the infiltration of socialist candidates within the Democratic Party. Tuberville was on Newsmax just days after socialist Abdul El Sayed won the Democrat primary to run in the U.S. Senate race in the state of Michigan.
Yeah, they want to burn culture away, take it to another level. Again, this is very scary. This is not something that we should just say, oh, this is a fad. This is not a fad. This is a movement that these people coming from these third world countries are coming here saying, we will control the United States of America. We're going to teach Sharia law. We're going to teach radicalism. We're going to do it and push it in the education system. And I'm telling you, people are sitting back going right now that, oh, this will never happen in America. If we sit around, it will happen in America, and it'll happen in the next couple of years, not just 10 or 15 years from now.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Covenant Rescue Group seeks to directly support organizations and agencies that are fighting the global battle against human trafficking. They do this through funding, procuring, and advocating. You can go to covenantrescue.org for further details. They need your donations, guys. Hop on and donate.
The Planning Commission for Baldwin County has pulled a proposed master plan so that it will not be sent to the full commission for consideration. The decision to table this plan comes after Baldwin County landowners showed up en masse at a meeting to express their concerns about the plan and to find out how much input had been taken from landowners and municipalities in that county. The incoming Baldwin County Commissioner, John Harris, says it's a disservice to push this plan through now before the new commission members can take their seats in November. He says the commission needs to hear from all stakeholders, leaders, and citizens who have lived in that county for a long time. I'm Andrea Tyson.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
What are you getting? Still deciding, but I do know on August 11th, I'm choosing Rhett Marcus for Congress. Why Rhett Marcus? Because he's a true conservative, endorsed by President Trump and Senator Katie Britt. Oh, then you can trust him. And he's a small business owner, not a politician.
Sounds like this choice on August 11th is the easiest decision we'll ever make.
Remember to vote on August 11th. I'm Rat Marcus, the Trump-endorsed candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Rat for Alabama.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. There's a lot of stuff we could go to. But, you know, this was real big news for people that love a particular brand flavor of yogurt. Dannon, that's a yogurt brand. Dannon's much-loved coffee-flavored yogurt was abruptly discontinued in April. Okay, that's disgusting. I'm glad it's discontinued. Coffee-flavored yogurt? Low-fat yogurt? Ew. Like, I get strawberries or mixed berries or blueberries or just vanilla, but coffee flavored? Just drink some coffee and eat some of the vanilla. Or eat some of the plain and drink some coffee. Oh, man. I guess people will start to like what they like. Many customers said that the decision seems to have been made without considering the loyal customer base that has supported this product over the years. The things people hang their hats on. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Connie.
Hey, Connie.
And I was calling in response to, I appreciate your information on Hampton Harris, by the way, and had recently decided to vote for him based on the recommendations of friends of mine. But anyway, and I will vote for him and encourage others. But I wanted to respond to the flock cameras in Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recently attended a town hall meeting on July 27 in which Julie Turner Beard, who is City Council District 2's representative, she distributed handouts that explained where all the flock cameras are currently in place and where they are pending. And if you'd like, I'd be happy to tell you where they are.
Yeah, please tell me.
Okay, the current locations of the flock cameras are on Biltmore and Coliseum, Pelzer and Coliseum, Biltmore and Federal, Pelzer and Federal, Brentwood and Atlanta Highway, Honeysuckle and Dalreda, Grove Park, Wares Ferry and Johnstown, The Woods, Dexter Ridge and Winbrook, Hidden Meadow, Countryside and Wares Ferry, and Sweetwood Way. Pending, which is, I guess, phase 2, and then phase 3 will be planned for next year, but pending is Jewel Drive and Wares Ferry, Lagoon Park Tennis and Golf, North Pass / Atlanta River Parkway, both sides, East Gardendale and Coliseum or Vista View, Miller Fuller Road and Alabama River Parkway, Pine Brook and Wares Ferry, and Dalraida and Hillman. So there you have it.
That's a lot more than I thought.
That's a lot. That's what she said. All right. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Yeah. Now, and if you're wondering, like, what you've maybe heard about this, like, what is this? They're automated license plate readers. It's from an Atlanta-based company called Flock Safety. They photograph every vehicle that passes, extract the plate number plus visual details, make, model, color, body type, bumper stickers, dents, etc., timestamp and locate the read, and feed that into a searchable cloud database. They look like small black rectangular boxes, often mounted high on poles with a solar panel, and sit along roads at intersections, neighborhoods, entrances, and private property. The company reports more than 120,000 cameras across 49 states in thousands of communities. Independent maps put verified counts in the high 90,000s. Data is typically retained about 30 days by default. Customers can set different periods. Flock also sells video cameras, including the PTZ Condor units that can auto-track people, gunshot detection, and related software. Of course, there's been backlash. A lot of critics said it's mass surveillance of ordinary drivers. A dense enough network of point-in-time photos effectively maps travel patterns, homes, workplaces, clinics, churches, protests without a warrant. Courts have generally treated public license plates as lacking a reasonable expectation of privacy, but the scale and permanence of the database raise new Fourth Amendment and civil liberties questions. That is interesting. Like, are you expecting privacy from everywhere you go in public? Should somebody be tracking everywhere you go in public? Even if they're not explicitly tracking you, they're just tracking everything in certain corridors. But local cameras have often, they feed into a broader network. National lookup settings have allowed out-of-jurisdiction and federal agencies, including immigration enforcement in some cases, to query local data, sometimes without the contracting city's knowledge or intention with its policies. Dozens of cities, 50 plus, have canceled or rejected contracts over this. Documented cases of police running personal searches on ex-partners' romantic interests. Well, that always happens. That's just known in the spying world. Yeah, abusing your privileges to spy. Well, and we all can be a little obsessive, possessive, resentful. Is anybody out there in the divorce world bitter? Bitter to the point that you'd look up what your ex is doing to see how ugly they are now, how fat they've gotten? Well, if you had the power to do it, you might abuse that privilege. But in late 2025, researchers found dozens of Flock Condor PTZ cameras, the ones that can track people, streaming live video and 30-day archives to the open internet with no authentication. Anyone could watch people, Zoom, and in some cases, access admin functions. Well, that's no good. And Condor cameras use AI to detect and follow pedestrians. Company messaging stresses that core LPR units focus on vehicles and do not do facial recognition, yet the overall platform increasingly includes people tracking video and broader investigative tools. And plate misreads have led to wrongful stops and detentions. Flock maintains the system only captures public road vehicle data, does not continuously track individuals or use facial recognition on its LPR products, leaves access and sharing decisions to customers, and that the crime-solving value outweighs the risk when policies and audits are in place. Flock systems are in use in various Alabama agencies and communities. Huntsville has a large number. It has had one for years, which is not surprising in Hunt, Vegas. Others include Leeds, Pelham, Lauderdale County, Alabama Department of Corrections sites around Montgomery, and private HOA deployments. Baldwin County has a bunch. But yeah, as you just heard from Connie, we got a bunch here in Montgomery. It's like focusing on one aspect of the cage that's being built. which ain't a bad thing. I get why this might get people worked up. But the cage is much more invasive and bigger than that. Like the flock cameras are just one point of collection. And that database is just one database of thousands. If not, databases that are essentially, once you query them, they create generative, customizable answers. You're talking, complexity and possible configurations in the millions, billions, trillions. Like there's a lot of different ways once you just get this whole pool of data and then you throw generative AI on top of it, where you can come up with all sorts of stuff that tracks people that will blow your hair back. So the flock cameras are one part of that system. And perhaps there is a benefit to security. And this is the constant trade-off, ain't it? Like, I have Apple products. The main way I secure my accounts, my face. No, also two-factor verification is always pretty sound. But in wanting security in that open internet infrastructure, people have come up with these sorts of quote-unquote solutions. Now, could the internet have been built, or could it be built in a different way where everything isn't just open and available? Probably. In fact, I think blockchain technology could do something like that. But, that's the old cliche at this point. Blockchain can solve it. The problem is most of your governments, your big corporations, they've all invested in these big data models. And if AI really is as good as we're being told, and in my own experience, it is. Like the change in the last 3-4 years is remarkable of what just the stuff available to consumers for $20 a month. It's remarkable the capability of these things at this point. And especially if you use it and you don't use it in a way that's deleterious to your health or your sanity, and because they're so powerful that people that are already prone to having issues or being easily, let's say, molded and pushed around and programmed. And that's, to me, the underlying thing. It's sold as a thing that's going to keep you secure, a thing that is going to be programmed to fit your every need. But I have a sense these systems are more securing you and programming you to, the people that are selling them's every need. And so the question becomes, how do you get out of this? You can push back locally. You can push back and focus on small parts of the cage that's being built, and I'm not against that. Being aware of what's going on is a good first step. But I got to be honest, I don't know. And anybody that pretends like they do know, I guess you can go completely off grid. There's a reason most people don't do that. You have to have a certain skill level and experience. Now, it could be people start to group together in order to sort of protect their data and have closed systems within the larger open internet and surveillance systems. That's possible. Perhaps that already exists to a certain degree. But right now, the average person, I think, is saying, I know I'm being tracked. And I'm of that crew. I know everywhere my car goes, because my phone's there, is being tracked. I know, like the athletic straps, like the heart rate straps. Like I wear Whoop. Like I know, got my biometrics, but I'm tracking that. But is it also tracking me? And honestly, I make the trade-off. Perhaps I'll grow to regret it one day. Perhaps one day I'll just unplug everything and go become a monk or something and pray all day and, help the poor. But right now, if you're in the world and of the world, these things have got you. Oh, wow. I just got a text. Is that Eddie Bader getting a pedicure? I see Big back there, Heather, or Hannah, or whatever her name is, his business partner. And that's Eddie Bader. I say they both are, they must be on the same regiment. They're both really tan. And, yeah, he's sitting in some salon/spa, and he's got his feet in a tiny tub. So I tell Eddie that I want to do the show solo for a while. And what does he do? He goes and gets a pedicure. You know, he's always giving me a hard time for being a little light in the loafers. Guess the loafer's on the other foot there, sir. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Eddie says he's bee buffing. Hey, I wanted to ask you something. You're a little familiar with some mythology and stuff like Prometheus and Icarus. When you see AI, I think of Prometheus and Icarus. I think of Prometheus because they put him down and said, no, you told them how to use fire, so now we're going to make you get in all kind of trouble forever and ever. I see a good thing and a bad thing with AI. I'm really worried about because we have a tendency to misuse anything that we have. But in terms of medical, because there's other good things too that AI might be helpful with, but you might, without going into detail on this, but if someone were to tell me we're going to be having AI to help interpret these MRI readings and these CT scans readings, I would be very happy because the eyes of a radiologist person just going in 5 minutes, I don't see anything. That's not good enough.
Yeah.
That's just not good enough. If someone said, I've looked at it, and then I had the AI look at it, so I see what he's talking or is talking about, that could be a good thing. So other applications, finding tumors the size of the pin of a head, starting cancerous cells, that's going to be a good thing. So that's nice. So I was hearing about you telling us about the camera a minute ago. You know, Europe, or particularly London, this has been over a decade ago. The home folks there, you know, home whatever that bunch is in Parliament, they said the reason that crime is up is because we don't have enough cameras. If we had more cameras, we would have less crime.
No.
That logic was 20-something years ago. But Orwell, 1984, I would turn back to that and say, well, let's just change the way everybody thinks by we will make these words bad and these words are okay. So where are we going with this stuff? What's his name in New York City, the mayor? Mondani or something? Yeah. Okay. I don't think he's ever heard of Red Square. That great big store that they have sitting there kind of next to the big cathedral, that was supposed to be the thing for the people. You go and the store is going to have clothes. It's going to have everything you need. It's a mall, a giant mall, beautiful building and all that. Unfortunately, it didn't work out so good. If he's thinking to make a giant store to serve the masses in New York, he's badly mistaken. I just don't know if the people are going to put up with it much more.
Yeah, add it to the list.
But do think about that MRI. And
oh yeah, no, it's an interesting line that we're walking, where it can be for really great things and good, but it's easy for us to get into a pretty we're worshiping ourselves, if that makes any sense. Worshiping.
And what was that about Icarus? Icarus built. He wanted to go higher and higher with those nice wings. His son got a little nuts.
Yeah, well,
Look what happened.
It was Daedalus, and Icarus
Daedalus,
was his son.
that's right.
And Daedalus was the great inventor who had created the labyrinth that kept the Minotaur in there, that I believe Theseus...
Thank you for helping me remember.
broke out of.
Yeah, I need to go back and read that some more.
And, I mean,
Thank you,
Daedalus told Icarus, don't fly too close to the sun. I don't know why he sounds that way. Your wax wings will melt, son.
That's right. That's right. I forgot.
And Icarus is like, oh, look at me. Look at me. I'm flying so high. It's like, you're going too close to the sun. And then he fell to his death.
Ooh. Yeah, gravity really gets me down, you know.
Yeah. No, that's one of my favorite memes I still send to folks that know me well it was Craig Ferguson. Somebody told him just on a comment on Twitter, careful, Icarus. And it's just a great way to tell somebody, you better watch yourself. Hubris is a hell of a thing, or carelessness.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can I say one more thing concerning this level of mythology and how it gets wrapped up in our financial culture? There was a group that was, I don't know how you call it, but they bought ownership that wound up owning Bushmaster rifle. Okay. And the little guy whose name will not be mentioned, he went and killed the children and the teachers at the school, Sandy Hook. Yeah. Wasn't it Sandy Hook?
Yeah.
Okay. The name of that corporation, or whatever it was, what's the name of the dog that guards the gates to hell?
Cerberus?
That's right. Cerberus Group was the name of that group. So for your investment group, you're naming it after a three-headed dog that guards the gates to Hades. What kind of crap is that?
Yeah.
Thank you, Joey.
Appreciate
you putting up with me.
Thank you. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Before I hit this break, we have some more very popular missives from a Japanese man living in America. Yes, I'm talking about Nobunaga. Nobunaga writes, I attended a county fair and watched a child sell a pig. The pig is worth, I am told, somewhere near $400. I looked this up afterwards because I did not believe what happened. The girl is 12. She walked the animal into a ring wearing a white shirt and a numbered card. She had raised it herself from a piglet for 9 months, which I confirmed, and she had a binder of records because the program requires one. The bidding began. Local men, a man from a bank, a man who sells tires, a woman who owns a restaurant I had eaten at the previous evening. It did not stop at 400. It stopped at 3,200. I turned to the man beside me and asked whether the pig was of exceptional quality. He said, it's a fine pig. I asked whether it was worth $3,200. He said, no. I asked why the price was $3,200. He said, she's a good kid. I stood up. I could not remain seated. I said out loud, in a metal building that smelled of animals, that a market which knowingly and deliberately misprices a good in order to put a child through a university and does so every year in the open with an auctioneer and a microphone is not a market at all, but a right. R-I-T-E. And that I have never seen a province conduct one so cheerfully. He said, you want a lemonade? I said that I did. Here is the part that I had entirely misread. The men bidding against each other were not rivals. They were raising it together. The tire man bid, then the bank man bid, and the tire man nodded at him, and they were pushing the number upwards on purpose. In public, in front of the girl. She knew. Everyone knew. The auctioneer knew. The right requires that nobody says it. Afterward, the girl shook every buyer's hand. She writes them letters later. That is also part of it. She writes letters. I asked the restaurant owner why she bids every year. She said, somebody bought time. She is 58. No, somebody bought mine. I learned the punchline there. But keeping it through the generations, she said, somebody bought mine. She's 58. Again, that's Nobunaga. And he is, he's writing things that are actually beautiful. In particular about how American culture actually works and operates. Sometimes it does take somebody with, say, eyes from far away to really see what's right in front of all our faces and remind us of it. Nobunaga writes, I needed my lawn mowed. I asked an American for the name of a company. He said, get a kid. A kid, not a service, a child. I asked, which kid? Any of them. I asked them where one obtains a kid. There is no directory. There is no listing. He said, ask around. I asked around. 2 days later, a 14-year-old named Cody was standing on my porch. He did not bring a mower. Nobody told me this part. The kid uses your mower and your gas. He brings arms. I asked his rate. He said, whatever. Whatever. A negotiation had opened, and the other party declined to attend. A blade drawn against no opponent must be returned to the sheath in silence. I put my wallet away. So I conducted research. I asked 4 adults what the correct amount was. 4 numbers, 20, 40, 25. One man said he gave a kid 50 once and could not remember why. There is no rate. There has never been a rate. An entire national labor market runs with no published price and every participant is somehow satisfied. I looked up the state minimum wage. I timed the work. I arrived at a defensible figure and I paid it. My neighbor watched this from his driveway. Later, he came over and told me kindly that I had underpaid. I said the amount exceeded the legal minimum. He said, yeah, but he's a kid. The price is not the price. The price is the price plus something no man on this street will say out loud. So I corrected. I overcorrected. $60 for 40 minutes. The same neighbor came back over. All right, don't ruin him. There's a floor and there's a ceiling. Neither is written anywhere. Both are enforced by men standing in driveways with their arms folded. The samurai who cannot read the room dies in the room. I have been dying in this room since June. Cody was thirsty. I did not offer him water because he had not asked, and a warrior does not name another warrior's weakness. My wife told me he is 14 and is 91 degrees. I now leave a bottle on the step where he can take it without being seen taking it. I asked my neighbor why the whole street does this. Why grown men pay a boy more than what the work is worth and then pretend not to have noticed. He said, you're not buying a lawn. Then he went inside, because apparently that was a complete explanation. Cody has cut my grass 11 times. He is saving for a truck. I know the exact figure because he told me, unprompted in August, sweating, holding my own mower. Last week, a family moved in 3 houses down. The man came over and asked if I knew anybody who cuts grass. I said, I got a kid. I heard what that sounded like. I did not correct it. He has $900 from the truck. A mountain is not asked to be smaller. A mountain is walked around at night quietly by a man with a truck payment he intends to make on someone else's behalf. I have started mentioning him to people. And if you'll humor me, one more from this Japanese man living in America. Nobunaga. My father died in Japan in February, and I could not get back. I told exactly one American, and only because he asked a direct question at a bad moment. Now, I've never been able to lie fast enough. He did not say he was sorry. He said, you busy Saturday? I was not busy Saturday. I have not been busy on a Saturday since I arrived in this country. He wanted help moving a riding mower to the other side of his garage. The mower runs. He drove it out himself. I want to be accurate here because I have thought about it a great deal since. The mower ended that day about 2 feet from where it started. We were in the garage, 5 hours. There was a small refrigerator out there with beer in it, and one orange drink belonging to his grandson, and neither of us touched the orange drink at any point. We discussed a shelf. We discussed a bolt for some time. Around 1 o'clock, we spent close to 40 minutes on the correct way to coil a hose, and he was wrong, and I told him he was wrong, and he told me to prove it, and I proved it, and he said, huh, and that was the end of it. He did not mention my father once. I had prepared for it. In my country, a man in mourning is approached with fixed phrases that have been in service 400 years, which is the entire purpose of them, and I had built mine in English over 3 nights. They were not good. They were ready. I never used them. I still have them written down. At 6, he said, same time next week? We did that for 5 Saturdays. We moved a workbench. We rewired a light that already worked. One Saturday, we sorted screws by length, which is not a job. That is somewhere to put a man. In April, a neighbor 3 doors down lost his mother. I do not own a mower. I own a boat trailer that does not need to be moved. He came at 8. He is coming again this Saturday. I have not said one word to him about his mother, and I am not going to. He knows what time. Give folks Nobunaga. Some of these are hilarious, and then some, well, it reflects the unspoken goodness of the people in this country of ours. And I'm pretty sure he's got to be in the South somewhere. But perhaps it could be anywhere in this vast, vast middle of the country. Anyway. Be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
At Alabama Home Mortgage, serving veterans isn't a marketing slogan. It's personal. Every employee at Alabama Home Mortgage is either the child of a veteran or the spouse of one. We understand what it means to serve, to sacrifice, and to put others first. We're deeply thankful for the trust so many veterans have placed in us over the years, but we're not done yet because there are still far too many veterans who haven't taken advantage of the VA home loan benefits they've earned. Yes, parts of the VA system are broken, but the VA mortgage is not. It remains one of the strongest home financing options available, offering benefits like no down payment for purchases and 100% cash out refinance. You earned this benefit. From our military families to yours, thank you. It is our honor to serve you. Give us a call today at Alabama Home Mortgage, 334-567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
WAKA, Blue Water Broadcasting, Tyndall Incorporated, and Piggly Wiggly Food for Less invite you to help us stuff the truck on Saturday, August 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sturbridge Piggly Wiggly Food for Less. Donate non-perishable food, classroom supplies, or cash to help local students facing food insecurity and support our teachers. Visit WAKA.com for a shopping list and stop by our community resource fair for valuable services and information for River Region families. Together, we can stuff the truck and strengthen our community.
We get this question all the time.
Do you handle that?
Buying or selling a home?
Yes.
Commercial?
Yes.
Land or investments?
Absolutely. Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. One team.
Every real estate move. 334-322-0662.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a prospector. That's right, man. I'm prospecting for gold. You dig? No, but it looks like you do. And you know the first thing I'm going to do when I strike it rich? What's that? I'm going to hire David Ernest to be my money man. You mean everyone's favorite asset preservationist? That is correct, man. I'm going to call him up at 833-596-7233. 833-596-SAFE. You know, I've heard a lot of the good things about David Ernest. You know, he's the best money man around with over 40 years of experience. Experience is necessary, especially when you're digging for gold. That's right, man. And I can see that you don't have very much experience. What do you mean, man? Well, you have the little plastic bucket and shovel like a kid would take to the beach. Yeah, man, well, I want to start out small and then kind of pace myself up until I strike it rich. Well, maybe you should call David Ernest first. You think he's got a shovel? Never know till you ask. I dig, man.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The dog days of summer continues with very little day-to-day change through the weekend and beyond. Today, sun and cloud mix with a high temperature in the middle 90s. In fact, we'll be in the middle 90s each of the next 5 days at least. Heat index each day, let's say 101 to 105 easy. Lows at night in the middle 70s. And each day, a few storms on the radar, but not many. You know, widely scattered, mostly afternoon and evening showers and storms, very random in nature, and they fade out at night. Have you heard any of this before? From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When the heat hits to the river region, don't wait. If your AC quits, Hands Heating and Air offers same-day service, or your diagnostic charge is free with their Comfort a Day or You Don't Pay guarantee, plus 24/7 service with no overtime charges.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. And that's the number Nash Papa dialed. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Joey. Good to hear your voice.
Likewise.
Hello, all you listeners out there. I just want to start by saying I had the rare privilege of talking for a minute or two with Joey off air while I was waiting, and I've never had the chance for us to just chat like that. It was really nice. I was calling to tell Joey how much I appreciated his recent article, his current article that just came out in the 1819 News magazine. And let me say for everyone listening, if you're not receiving the 1819 publication that comes out every month, it is a wonderful, I mean, it's, 10 or 20 pages thick. It's thick, glossy print and full of color photos. And about in the middle of it, Joey has an article at this time called By Faith Legacy, where he tells some of the story of his mom singing to him Psalm 139. And I just skimmed through it and read it, and I wanted to tell Joey how much I appreciated it. And the whole magazine this month is about the family, the future and making of a civilization. It's a wonderful publication. But I just want to say to Joey, thank you for your faith and how you express it on air and in things you write. So that's really mostly what I wanted to call in and say.
Well, and thank you. And it was good talking to you off air, and it's always good to talk to you on air. And I think you've inspired me to just, since it's out now, I might have read this when I first wrote it on air, but I think I'll read that By Faith Legacy here on the airwaves.
Okay.
And folks, sign up for 1819 News, the magazine. I didn't know when this would come out, so it's a great news to me that it's out, it hitting people's mailboxes. And when they said this is what the issue is going to be about, I was in let's say, God put me in the right place in the right time on this one.
The only disappointment I have is in the middle of Joey's article, there's a full-page color picture of a man, a relatively young man with a girl on his shoulders, blonde-headed girl. I thought maybe that's Joey's brother and his niece, but Joey said it's not.
Yeah, I'll have to see the photo, but it doesn't sound from your description like it is.
Yeah. What else? I wanted to say one more thing, Joey. I can't remember what it was. When will you read that? You said you're going to read that on air. When will you do that?
I'll probably do it like right now.
I'll stand by. Thank you.
All
God
right.
bless you and all your listeners.
God bless.
Bye.
Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Everything okay? Okay. We have an engineer in here looking underneath the hood. Again, that's 272-9228. What I'm going to do is hit a quick break. We'll come back with Ray Bowles, and then I'll read this thing. Y'all stay tuned.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Tired of spending your weekends fighting weeds, patchy grass, and a mower that never starts? Mosley Lawn Pros is the solution. They handle residential and commercial lawn maintenance, landscaping, cleanups, and property care so you don't have to. They show up on time, do the job right, and leave your lawn looking sharp every time. Stop stressing over your yard and start loving it. When it comes to your lawn, call the crew your neighbors and local businesses trust. One call, one crew, problem solved. Mosley Lawn Pros, built on hard work, driven by quality. Find them today on Facebook or Google.
Hi, I'm Doug Tullis with Eclectic Coins, 543 Northeastern Boulevard. Since I've partnered with Blue Water Broadcasting, my business has grown more than I could ever imagine. If you're looking to grow your business, please consider giving Blue Water Broadcasting a call. They work for me. I know they'll work for you.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to the program. 272-9228 if you want to get in before we close up shop. Before I forget, this part of the program brought to you by Ray Bowles and Prattville Carpet. And they're at Prattville Carpet. Of course, they can help you. Brand new carpet, flooring. Could be traditional hardwood flooring. Could be luxury vinyl plank. Could be you need a new area rug. The point is, they can help you out across, but even ceramic tile, you're not going to stump them. Now, maybe you want something really crazy, like I want the fur of some exotic animal. Yeah, okay, you freak. Instead, if you're a normal person and you want great work done to get that new floor down, new surface down, just get in touch with Prattville Carpet. Just call them up at 285-8117. That's 285-8117. They'll come out and do a free in-home measurement. You pick out the product you want. They'll get the job done. Just that simple. And be sure to tell them when you call them up at 285-8117 that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. So I appreciate the prompting of Nosh Papa for wanting to read this. And yeah, 1819 News, the magazine, just came out. And this is right in the middle of that edition. It's an essay called By Faith, Legacy. Now, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Indeed, by faith, our ancestors received approval. By faith, we understand that the worlds were prepared by the word of God, so that what is seen was made from things that are not visible. That's from Hebrews 11, 1 through 3. Far over the misty mountains cold, the dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day to claim our long-forgotten gold. J.R.R. Tolkien. When my brother told me that he had started the tradition of singing Tolkien's Far Over the Misty Mountains Cold to his 2-year-old daughter upon putting her to bed each night, and that my little niece now requests Mountains, Daddy, upon being tucked in, it immediately stirred up memories of Mom singing us to sleep as little children. Yet upon that recollection, Mom's melody seemed more than a mere memory, but something ready to be born anew, long-forgotten gold just waiting to be claimed in the caverns of my heart. Though Mom's song has lived unseen within me for many years, with a simple act of love I can embody the legacy of her lullaby with a gentle hum. Her melody still unseen, yet alive again every time it's sung. Yet when my voice rises to sing the words she sang to me, I recall this song belongs to everyone's legacy. Yahweh, I know you are near, standing always by my side. You guard me from the foe, and you lead me in ways everlasting. Where can I run from your love? If I climb to the heavens, you are there. If I fly to the sunrise or sail beyond the sea, still, I'd find you there. This hymn, deeply rooted in Psalm 139, has been sung in many forms for thousands of years. A legacy handed down as a song of praise, reminding us we are always seen by the unseen ways of the Lord. Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and settle at the farthest limits of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me fast. For it was you who formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works that I know very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes beheld my unformed substance. In your book were written all the days that were formed for me, when none of them as yet existed. How weighty to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them. I try to count them. They are more than the sand. I come to the end. I am still with you. Indeed, if faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen, then it is by faith, through renewed acts of charity, that we come to embody our personal and eternal legacies. Across the generations, ancestors beget descendants who then become ancestors again. Their souls as numerous as the thoughts of God, more than the sand. Though the generations may share their songs and stories in different ways and with the changing of their days, an everlasting inheritance stays when rooted in the timeless, unseen word. Though legacy may be as humble as a lullaby, it can also be as bold as the greatest story ever told or heard. By faith, we may answer the call to adventure to find our inheritance in promised foreign lands. By faith, we may wrestle with angels, defy pharaohs, and part the seas as though passing on dry land. By faith, we may see the walls of our enemies fall while showing the endurance to suffer at our persecutors' hands. By faith, we carry a great cloud of witnesses, though we may never fully understand God's plan. By faith, we can share stories that inspire adventures that never die. By faith, we may forever see one another eyelash to eyelash with the hum of an unseen lullaby. Yet not all legacy is as sweet as those tender songs mothers and fathers sing. But the greatest legacies are born of those loves that bear the greatest suffering. More than melodies or tales of adventure to claim long-forgotten gold, stories of love embodied through suffering are the greatest stories told. There once was a new father, an enlisted man, who made very little money indeed, whose first-born son was delivered into the world with an unfortunate deformity. His son's right ear was not where it should have been. Rather than on the right side, the ear almost appeared behind the infant's head. The doctors told the father that the condition could be fixed eventually, but they would need to wait until his boy was old enough for the surgery. In the meantime, the father would need to stretch his son's head to loosen the muscles so the ear might properly align, twisting the head day by day so the ear might move back to the right side. So dutifully, the father molded his infant son like clay. For 3 minutes, he would stretch his son's head every day to move the boy's ear from behind, and as the infant wailed in pain, the father would pang inside, never forgetting his infant son's cries for the rest of his life. Each day for a year, as this father suffered with his son, there was so much he couldn't see. He couldn't see that his son would soon grow in health and brilliance after the surgery. He couldn't see that his little boy would one day graduate school at the age of 15. He couldn't see that his son, once a man, would one day enter the seminary and devote his life to molding God's family. No, in that year of daily sufferings, the father couldn't yet see what his son's legacy would be. Yet by faith, he had hope in the unseen and embodied true love in the midst of their shared agony. By faith, legacy is found in humble memories stored in our hearts like gold. By faith, legacy is passed down in the stories of adventure we are told. By faith, legacy is passed down in our cries of suffering and the lullabies we've heard. By faith, legacy is found in seeing the unseen, everlasting ways of the Word. By faith, we can embrace that God became man, that God so loved us, he suffered and died only to rise again, that we may be set free, our legacy ransomed from the wages of sin. Appreciate Naj Papa telling me that finally came out. The magazine's out, and inspiring me to read it. Anyway, happy Friday. Hope you all have a good weekend. I'll be back Monday. Happy Hour with Greg Budell and the team. Well, they are next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana